Welcome back to Beyond Classified. I'm Chris Matthew. Today my guest is Jay Weidner. He is a renowned filmmaker, author, and scholar. His body of work offers great insight into the circumstances that have led to the current global crisis. He founded Sacred Mysteries together with his wife, Sharon Rose, and has directed 15 films in the current Sacred Mysteries collection. Jay, welcome back. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm excellent. Thanks you for coming on. It's been a little while. It's great to have you back on. I encourage everyone to go not only listen to Jay's previous appearances here, but all the videos he's done on his channel. He's provided profound insights into the directions we're being steered and the true nature of possibly some of these agendas and operations that we're subjected to by these clandestine groups in control. On one side, it seems that we're kind of being pushed into this transhuman technocracy, or at least that's the desired outcome. I don't know if that's going to be possible with everything unfolding right now. If society crumbles because of the depths that they've pushed us already with food shortages, gas prices, economic factors, like this looming dollar crash, of course, I don't know if that's going to be possible or if that is what they have planned after society crumbles. It's very interesting to see where we're at right now. Did you think that we would be this far into it whenever this first started unfolding in 2020? Did you think that this would happen at the speed and to the depths that it has already?
No, I have to honestly say I did not see this coming. I did not realize what I think happened is that I've been really thinking about this a lot lately. Is that a bunch of us alerted people, and it was at first the cabal, whoever they are, they just ignored us and just didn't pay any attention to us. But by 2018, as we were approaching their beginning of their plan, they had to shut us down. So they began shutting everybody down in 2018 so that we would not be talking when they started doing what they were going to do. So I think what we did was a bunch of people that are around my age, maybe a little younger, about 20 years ago, we started alerting everybody. And I think that we were more effective than we thought. And I think that caused them to speed the plan up. And by speeding the plan up, and I mean they sped it up by at least 2 years, they made a bunch of mistakes. And these mistakes are actually could cost them their plan. So unexpected, the law of unintended consequences. And so they wanted the supply chain shortage to keep us, well, basically to get rid of us. And but what's going on is that's going to interfere with their ultimate plans too. So I don't think they're going to get their transhumanist world. I don't think they're going to get their you will know nothing and be happy world. I don't think any of that's going to happen. I think that because they had to speed the plan up, and because there were so many awake people, that it didn't work. The disease didn't work. We now know pretty much that they've never isolated a virus ever. People don't realize that. They've never isolated a virus. That it's the whole thing is preposterous. And then if they've never isolated a virus, then the vaccine can't be effective at all because they haven't isolated the virus for the vaccine to be effective. So the whole thing is just it's either a giant absurdity or it's them making a bunch of really, really big mistakes. And I think that the invasion of Ukraine by Putin was also another forced error, you might say, by the cabal. Ukraine was always been part of Russia. Khrushchev was from Ukraine. He was the head of the USSR. So the whole thing is absurd. So it'd be like, the United States fighting Florida, right? Florida wants to break off, right? And so, but we got sucker punched. And I warned everybody when it happened. I said, you do not, if you weaponize the financial system, you are going to go down. Because the first thing that happened when they weaponized the financial system against Russia is that every other country on earth went, wait a minute, they can do that to us too. And so everybody began looking for avenues away from the US dollar. In other words, we shot ourselves in the foot needlessly for a civil war, basically.
Yeah, man, it's pretty incredible what we're seeing unfold right now. You mentioned the viral aspect and how we've never really isolated a virus. There's so many things that we're finding out about our healthcare and medical industry and pharmaceutical industry right now that are so not only just disgusting but outright evil. It seems that the main purpose for the medical and pharmaceutical industries is to keep us sick or kill us or keep us customers for life, not in any way to make us more healthy. I mean, the things they found out about HIV and AIDS and the possibilities that it's just these medications that they were giving people that were killing them. And there's same things with cancer. So it's pretty incredible the depths that we're finding out even about our own healthcare system.
Yeah, I highly recommend this documentary that's going around on the internet. The Germ Theory is over, I think it's called, or something like that. Really, really good documentary about all the tests that they gave to try to prove that you could pass a disease on from one person to another. And they couldn't do it. Hundreds and hundreds of tests, literally disgusting tests where they're putting mucus from sick people into the nostrils of healthy people. And yet none of the healthy people ever got sick. And so we have to look at what else is going on. What else is causing these outbreaks? What is it? And it's environment. It's pollution in the environment. It's toxins. It's toxins in the water. It's toxins in the food. And they can't control that, because they did, then they would lose their economic system. And so, if you, doesn't really matter if you hang out with sick people. You're not going to get sick as long as you are healthy. And it's just basic. You have to exercise, you have to take vitamin D and C and get sunshine. All of the things that they told you not to do during the lockdown is what you should be doing every day. Because, and you know what, I haven't said this in public before. The lockdown starting in March 2020, till I would say June 2021 was like one of the best periods of my life. We traveled everywhere. Gas was $2 a gallon. We got a ocean front in San Diego that was normally $700 a night. We got it for $150 because nobody was renting anything. We stayed in Sedona. We had a $400 a night place that we got for $75. We were rocking and rolling. We couldn't eat at restaurants, but we'd just get takeout. And all the parks were empty. Grand Canyon was empty. Grand Teton was empty. I never had such a good time in my whole life. And it's all over now, because now I can't go anywhere because gas is too expensive and they're ruining the whole thing. And I actually got to be honest with you, I don't know where this is going. I mean, I'm a pretty prescient person and I plan well ahead for everything. And it's one of the reasons that I've been so successful in my life, because of my prescience. But I have to tell you, I'm looking at this and all I see is death. I had an intelligence guy on my show a couple times, actually. And right before the 2020 election, he was on. He's a Canadian guy. He's a Russian intelligence and Canadian intelligence, and just really a smart guy. And I said, so we don't know who's going to win the election. So what do you think? What happens if Trump wins? What happens if Biden wins? And he said, well, if Trump wins, everything's just going to go on like it is. It's just going to go on like it is. Everything will be pretty much the way it is. He said, if Biden wins, there's going to be mass death. And I was like, what? Mass death? He said, yeah, you'll see. I said, so you're saying if Biden wins, there's going to be like this super increase in deaths? And he said, yeah, that's what's going to happen. And so, Biden won, and now we're at 40% increase, 2021 over 2019 in deaths. And people are dropping like flies all around me. And I don't even know what to say anymore about it. And some of it's inexplicable. They'll just die. Just find them on their kitchen floor dead. And they didn't take anything, they were, you would say, I guess. And so I'm like, how did he know that? Right. And it must have been he was privy to the plan, and that Trump really was going up against that plan is really what he was saying underneath the whole thing. And I'm not here to celebrate Trump or anything, although I do think that he did represent the working class, which no president in my lifetime ever did. And so I will say that about Trump. He eschewed the special interest groups, and he always went with the working class. And he got us. We did not get into any wars during that time period. And I have to say, 2019 is probably the best economic year that any of us will ever have, ever again. So they're taking us down this road, and I guess the road is death. And we have to do everything we can right now to understand that that's what they're planning. And then we have to say, okay, how can we stop them from succeeding? And that's got to be the plan. I don't believe that the world is overpopulated, not even at all. Every single person could have a full acre and on Earth and would not fill up Texas. In other words, you could give every single person on Earth a full acre in Texas, and Texas would not be filled up. That's how few people there actually really are on Earth. And we need people. And this idea that there's going to be this technological future and cars driving themselves on, what kind of workforce you would need to have a technological future like they're planning. You would have to have everybody have to be really educated. They'd have to understand technology because they're going to be repairing machines all the time. That's all anybody will be doing is repairing machines. Everything is, machines are governed by entropy. The third law of thermodynamics, everything runs down from the moment it's created till it begins diminishing from the moment it's created, and everything runs down. And there's no way that you can back out of entropy. And these machines aren't, they're not going to, it's not going to work. It's just not going to work. There's not enough electricity being generated on Earth for the electric vehicles. If you're building an all-electric future, it's not going to work. You'd have to start building at least 40 fourth-generation nuclear plants starting right now. You'd have to start building them in order to provide enough energy for the future they're planning. On top of that, you're mining all these rare earth minerals that takes right now to mine. I think it was a platinum went from $100 to mine an ounce to 4,000 in like the last 2 years. Everything is skyrocketing, and so their future isn't going to work. So then we have to say, okay, either they're retarded and their plan is silly, or they're doing this intentionally to kill us, which is what I believe. I believe the rich want to create the earth as their playground, and they will go right back to fossil fuels as soon as we're all gone, and they don't give a crap about any of that. They're just paying lip service to it until they can get rid of us. They're the ones that are polluting. The top 1% pollute 40% of all the pollution is done by the top 1%. Okay, then so the 99% produce the 60%. Only the thing is that the 99% are aware of what they're doing because it costs them to pollute. So they back off of polluting as much as they can. Trash costs, everything costs. So right now we are in a position now where we have to find our tribe, and we have to move out to the country. and decide that we're going to stay in one place for the most part until somehow gas prices drop. The United States is the biggest energy producer on earth. Gas should be about $1.50 a gallon in our country, and it's not. And they're patently, blatantly telling us that they're doing it for their new world order. They're blatantly right out in front saying that the liberal world order, in order for it to go on, we need to pay $5 a gallon in gas. So that they're purposely whittling us down. And here's the thing people don't understand is that government agencies and corporations have quarterly or annual or semi-annual budgets. So say your local sheriff, right? He has a budget that was allocated to him at the end of the last fiscal year of your county. Okay. So he for July, he has a certain amount of money he can spend. And this is within all other government agencies, same thing. You can't overdo your allocation. Okay. There's no money. So it's impossible to overdo it. So if you live in a county like mine, which is huge, and the poor sheriff has to drive an hour to answer a single call, he's going to use up all of his gasoline allocation by mid-month. I've already talked to the sheriff in my local, and he says, yeah, that's exactly right. By the end of the month, he's not going to be able to respond to any call because he doesn't have any more gas money. And this is going to happen in everywhere. So people are saying, "Oh, the feds are going to come out and get us." No, they're not. They're not going to have the money. They're not going to be able to do anything. The same thing also, by the way, with like thieves and burglars. They're not going to be able to drive out into the country to rob people because they're not going to be able to afford it. It's going to cost you $300 to drive. It's soon going to be. Okay, the Biden administration is now planning for $200 a barrel oil. That would mean that you're paying about $12 a gallon in gas. That will wipe out everybody. It will wipe out everybody. The diesel will be about $14 a gallon. So that will make the food prices outrageous. They won't even be delivered. California right now has passed a new law to where I think it's like 60% of the truckers are no longer qualified to drive on California highways because they don't have the right pollution things on their trucks and stuff. So California is just basically slicing their own throat right now, but they're also slicing our throat since 70% of our fresh vegetables come from California in the winter. And so we are really facing a man-made crisis by idiots. And I watched Idiocracy the other day. That's actually a very prescient movie.
It certainly is.
It is. And I think it needs to have a rebirth, actually, because that's what we're watching. And, the suburban women voted, they switched from Trump to Biden. And there's a huge switch. That's who got Biden in office, was suburban women. And now suburban women are kicking themselves in the ass because of this. They never dreamed that they could have a nightmare being created right in front of them, like is being created. And so now they're retreating from that, and there's a huge retreat. But do the Republicans really have anything to offer? I mean, they just passed a gun control law right when we're not going to have any police because there's the budget allocations. So we're more than ever, we have to defend ourselves. They're passing these red flag laws, if your neighbor doesn't like you, they can tell the police that you said something crazy, and then the next thing you know, you're tagged and you can't ever use a gun again. And they passed this law like 2 weeks ago, and so we can't depend on them either. And I don't know. At this stage, it's going to go into rapid decentralization, which is the exact opposite of what they say they're planning for. They're planning for a rapid centralization, but I don't see it coming. I just don't see it coming. I don't see how they're going to. So they're going to so-called put smart meters on every house, right? And it's going to watch your thermostat. It's going to watch your calorie intake, and it's going to count what you're taking out of the refrigerator. Do you know how much that would cost to build in one house? And then you have to maintain it. So it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. All of their plans are built on a flimsy foundation that is falling apart, and they know it. And so it's almost like it's a technocratic wet dream. And this is how, if I could create the world, this is what I would do. And then they all talk about it, and then they kind of plan it. But because they're specialists, all of them, they don't appreciate, because specialists just see tunnel vision. They can't see anything else but what their specialty is telling them. And so they're all looking at their specialty. They get together at the World Economic Forum and they compare their specialty notes with each other. But none of them are generalists, you know. So, in fact, generalists are now like, you know, sneered at, you know. But generalists are actually a very powerful group of people that you want to cultivate, because they see the big picture and they know a little bit about everything, and that helps them understand things. And so, you know, I'm a generalist. I would say most artists are generalists, and I would say that people who have multi-talented in very different aspects of life, like they can play the piano, but they can also do photography, and they also understand how to fix a car. Those are the people that we really need to cultivate, because they see the big picture. They're running for their lives, the generalists. Preppers are all generalists, by the way. Yeah. So preppers are all, they're all running for their lives right now. And there's a reason, because they see this thing coming and we don't know where it's going to end. I mean, if it does get to $12 a gallon, we're not. This is Jay Weidner, Reality Check, and we're starting a membership plan for content that we don't normally want to put up on some of these platforms, and I want you to join. We're not going to stop doing the regular shows. We're just adding content. Be a lot more one-on-one stuff with me, and I think you guys will find it really interesting. So we'll put it up here below, how you can get into the membership plan, and please join. I'm Jay Weidner, and thanks for watching.